folks, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing a current affair topic presented to you by your faculty, Sushma KP. So what is the topic that we will be looking into today? Key takeaways from Z-Trump meeting. Now in this video, first we will be discussing about the background of this meeting. See, first and foremost, recently US President Donald Trump had visited South Korea capital Busan to attend the APEC summit. APEC summit as in Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. Okay, now what is this APEC summit for? It is a regional economic forum that more of promotes free trade, economic integration, and cooperation. It has almost 21 member countries, whoever are coming from your Asia Pacific region. Okay, so what makes this particular meeting important is because on the sidelines of APEC summit, he also met his counterpart Xi Jinping, okay, Chinese president. Now this is an important meeting is because this is the very first meeting that both your Trump and Xi Jinping are having formally after your Trump 2.0. What is this Trump 2.0? That is the return of Trump in the second term. Okay, so this is a very important mission. Now Trump, in his own style of hyperboling things, when asked how did the meeting go, he told the White House reporters that if the meeting was from 0 to 10 and 10 being best, the meeting was at a 12. And he also claimed that it was an amazing meeting. First and foremost, here we will see a lot of symbolisms and also limited substance what we will be getting in your US-China relation, and this is a very important historic moment which is watched by all your Western allies as well as your middle powers, especially like your India, Japan, Australia, Brazil. Now first and foremost, why is this very important? See, first and foremost, your US president has called and signaled something as G2, similar to be on the lines of your G20 and G7. It is nothing but G stands for grouping. So this is group of two leading economies. Okay, let's start with the first. What are the optics at large? See, first and foremost, this is more of the theatrics are also very important because in diplomacy that showcases or sets a tone for the world. So this particular diplomacy was very high on showmanship, where both were praising each other. That is, Donald Trump was praising Xi Jinping was praising Trump. So the theatrics was good. Both leaders avoided confrontation. They followed proper protocols. They projected mutual respect for each other. If you see Xi Jinping, he was again as usual, he was measured and composed. Whereas your Trump, compared to his other diplomatic visits where we see large amount of bullying and all those things, but this was very accommodating. And also as soon as immediately the meeting got over, there was no official Chinese readout on this, indicating a controlled message coming from your Beijing. First and foremost, what is the importance or highlight of this? If you see, Trump called this meeting a G2, Group 2. That is, he equated your US and China and gave it the same power as two leading economies. No US president has did that up until now. So this will give the major status boost to your China, where your Chinese president Xi Jinping from the day one of his office has always wanted to make your China as a number one. The power of China is now here shown, and also what effect it wields on the global supply chain. So this was a symbolic victory for Beijing, which confirmed the power status. Next, with respect to the optics, yes, it was high on showmanship, symbolic diplomacy, everything was there. At the same point of time, in this optics space, there was also the praise portion that we have to see. Xi Jinping was praising Donald Trump for his peace initiatives, especially he brought out two. One is your Gaza peace plan and second is your Thailand-Cambodia truce. He also said that it was China, it was in his own backyard, so China was also very much looking into this issue. So it was all about reciprocal flattery. That was also seen from your Donald Trump side. So what was Donald Trump's side of flattery? He said we're going to have a good negotiation, but it is going to be tough because Xi Jinping is a tough negotiator. So things like that. So both sides appeared to be mutual philatry, and they were trying to move towards somewhere of a stabilization, at least on a temporary level. If you see the strategic reading of how it is, first and foremost, Trump exercised good amount of restraint, not like how he acts with the other diplomacy. So it shows that even they understand how important this meeting is, and he understood the economic weight of China. Usually he is just confrontational, but that tone is very absent here. And even though it was about controlled rivalry, they were not openly hostile. The dialogue mechanism was very important. Second takeaway from this was the substance. What is the substance? First and foremost important thing is your rare earth deal. The US President Donald Trump had held that your China will continue with the rare earth minerals for the next 1 year. It is 17 metals. Now, these metals are so crucial that it is used from missiles to aircrafts to electronics to your electric vehicles to refrigerators to everything. So much so that when your China had pressurized that it will stop and it will put a control on the supply of rare earth, that is critical minerals, your US company started pressurizing your President Donald Trump, telling that so much so that your Ford thought it will stop or it will halt the production itself. Whereas at the same point of time, okay, the Trump administration, he is known for business foremost policy. So when he told yes, now the China will continue without disruption of rare earth minerals, then this move temporarily eased the supply of disruption. And he told that this is a win for the world and not just for US. And for this, your US president told that they will reduce 10% of tariffs which is levied on China. That is currently from 57% to it goes to 47%. Another important highlight your US wanted China to do was reduce the role of China in its opioid of fentanyl. Understanding? Usually, fentanyl is a man made pain reducing drug, but it is used for recreational purposes. So now that tariff was coming through your channel was coming from a China route, for which they had levied 20% tariff, in that they've reduced the 10%. Now both sides have some economic relief because this high tariffs was affecting your Chinese business people also. Now when the tariffs are reduced to 47%, now if you see which is the country with the highest tariff from your USA, that is your India, which stands at a 50% tariff. Now, where China tried to show its leverage as to what it means for the global supply chain came to be visible, especially after your COVID-19 pandemic, and it showed its dominance in the rare earth production. If you see the nature of this deal, this is very temporary and it is not a reformative process. Still, China controls 80 to 85% of your, that is, it is the major supplier of your critical minerals. So what it looks like is your US has just bought time in order to diversify before it can act. Okay. This does not mean that there is no interdependence, because your US, it becomes your China's first exports and second imports. Okay. So this showcases that it is a wake up call. Your US China deal is a wake up call for all the other countries that you have to de-risk yourself from China. Now, what are its implications on India? Before we see, we have a small announcement from Legacy IAS Academy, where if you're someone who wants to kickstart your UPSC civil service preparation, look no further. You have found the right spot with Legacy IAS Academy, wherein we provide one-on-one mentorship, easy access to educators, daily mains answer writing challenge, 360-degree current affair analysis, and we also conduct our sessions in both offline mode as well as in online mode. For those of you who are working professionals and students, you can also avail our weekend classes. Now, we also conduct our CSAT classes with IIT faculty. Now, let's come to the global message. See, what can be seen from your US-China deal is that it is a controlled reset. They are trying to stabilize the scenario, but it is not a complete reset in your US-China ties. They are trying to lower the tension and buy some time in order to diversify. This also regional signaling that, see, at the same point of time, your Trump also met with your ASEAN leaders. Especially, they also met with your Japan's new PM, who is a protege of your previous Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. And also, the message is intact that US partnership with its partners, ASEAN partners, remains strong, and it will balance competition and cooperation. But this should not be just seen from the fact that your US has completely reset its ties with China. No, that is not happening. But what is an answer is your US is going to take on China, but how does it want to do that? Is it with its allies or on its own? If it is with allies, then the Quad grouping will come into relevance again. Understanding? So, this highlights your Trump's business first foreign policy, which means India should understand one thing: it has to adapt to the new phase of US and China equilibrium. Meaning what? The G2 narrative gives more of your middle powers like your India, Japan, Brazil, Australia, all a important thing to look into, that they also have to move towards diversifying. And also their relevance, the relevance of your middle power, especially like India, aligns with your Quad and Indo-Pacific frameworks. Okay, so now, as of now, your higher Indian tariffs, and also we are relying on your possible Indo-US deal, which your US President Donald Trump had told will be signed before he started his tour to ASEAN. And your India must also leverage its position for tariff parity. That is, how it is with respect to your China deal. So they also have to discuss the same in your Indo-US deal. So your New Delhi has to be pragmatic and also very alert. It has to engage with both these powers, the so-called G2. At the same point of time, it has to build with a multi-alignment network, that is through your ASEAN, EU, Gulf countries, etc., and reduce dependence on any single bloc. So now the G2, which has not been acknowledged by any other US president, brings us that bipolarity is now led by your Washington and Beijing, and middle powers like India has to create itself a strategic autonomy in this space that is becoming very very difficult. Okay, so this should not be seen as a complete reset in your US China ties, but rather there is the power where your Asia faces the dual power trying to control this region. So this US China deal is nothing but a short term calm and a long term uncertainty. For US, it means a tactical pause. For China, it is a symbolic elevation. For India, it is a reminder to stay strategically flexible and also carve out its power. Now, with this, we have come to the end of the content. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it along with your friends. Thank you.